DOJ is to investigate the Minneapolis police. We'll look at whether there's a pattern or practice of
Chauvin
misconduct.
has called the verdict a step toward justice. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison spoke with 60 Minutes' Scott Pelley for his first and only interview since Derek Chauvin's conviction.
There was one question that has gone unanswered in the trial and in the jury verdict, a question that even the video couldn't answer. And that is the question of motive. Why? Why would this officer assault George Floyd?
Well, that's a question we've spent a lot of time asking ourselves. And all we could come up with is what we could divine from his body language and his demeanor. And what we saw is that the crowd was demanding that he get up, and that he was staring right back at them defiantly. You don't tell me what to do. I do what I want to do. You people have no control over me. I'm going to show you. I also think that, you know, George Floyd was treated that way because he was suffering from anxiety and claustrophobia, cooperated with the police in every way until they tried to make him take his 6'4" body and jam it into a very tight space in that car. And he kind of freaked out. And I think the fact that he was not complying, I wouldn't call what he did resisting. I would call it he wasn't complying because he was having an emotional reaction to getting into that car. Even after he ended up on the other side of the car, he said thank you to them. And he would have been, but they just, I think what happened is you do exactly what we tell you to do when we tell you to do it, no excuses, and it's really an exertion of authority rather than trying to say, look, the job of a police officer is to deal with people who are not having their best day. So I think about motive. We weren't required to prove motive, but what I saw is somebody who just put ego before policing, ego before the discharge of a public trust and duty.
You can see more of Scott Pelley.
Authority, if you've taken like an intro to criminal justice class in college, you already know that authority is like at the heart of most of policing. Cops need to be in control of every situation that they're involved in. And that's precisely why a lot of fucking cops either gravitate towards that line of work because of the attitude that they have, or develop that attitude over decades of working on the job, where they literally they lose their fucking minds. Like, they have to control every situation and therefore refuse to de-escalate and instead escalate by use of force, because that's the thing that they have over every citizen. Right? Because they have the monopoly on violence. They are working as an actor of the state that has the authority to be able to enact violence on you and rob you of your freedom. Right? So that fundamentally needs to change. This is part of the reason why the entire policing structure is just fundamentally broken, fundamentally flawed, fundamentally broken across the board. But that's why a lot of cops react the way that they fucking do in a situation whenever they feel as though their authority is being questioned.
Hit them in the wallet to scorn bad behavior.
There is even a legitimate reason for why cops need to be able to exert authority, but oftentimes they don't exert authority over mutual respect and get respect back while simultaneously respecting the people that they're dealing with. And because that's too difficult and that's not within the training, they do it through violence. Like, I get I get that policing is not an easy job. It's not supposed to be an easy job.
7 months hassle.
Right? When you're a cop, you are dealing with people that are having the worst moment of their lives. You do that every single fucking day. Okay? It's supposed to be a very difficult job. The problem is, because that is supposed to be a very difficult job overall.
I love your hair. Also, why do
they just,
stuff like Reaganomics when
we have just decided in the United States of America that you can just have fucking, you can just deal with it by being aggressive and treating everyone as though they are enemy combatants. And that is terrible. It's the reason why
Hitler is my mother.
These sorts of problems occur over and over again.
Training should include a course where they practice being told no and having their authority questioned until they learn to act appropriately.
Just because it's a difficult job doesn't mean that we shouldn't hold them accountable, right? I would never, ever say that. As a matter of fact, it's at the heart of my criticism. Policing would be easier if it was different. If it actually protected the interests of the public rather than the interests of capital. It would literally be an easier job that gets more respect if cops operated in a respectable capacity. But they don't.